Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm introducing, by comparison, the Chieftain Custom. I've already introduced the Chieftain V5. I'll put a link at the top to that introduction. Phil Hardy at Kerry Whistles makes some absolutely beautiful whistles. I want to tell you some of the characteristics of some of his whistles, but the focus is really on the Chieftain. These are twins. I guess they're fraternal twins. They kind of look alike, but they don't. And they kind of sound alike, but they don't. So it's important to understand some of the subtle differences between these, because there are no dramatic, blatant differences between these, but they're different enough. And a couple of things I really appreciate what Phil Hardy and Kerry Whistles do. I have, and this is our friend Jonathan's Chieftain V5. I need to get it back to him. But including the V5, I have within arm's reach 5 low Ds by Kerry Whistles. One is the Kerry tenor low D that is a beautiful starter whistle, starter low D for anybody. And then it goes all the way up in price range to either of these twin chieftains. And you can get even more whistles from Phil, and he's focused on the low D and does a beautiful job. Now, a couple of things though you need to be aware. Phil offers what I would call professional grade instruments at a price point lower than a lot of folks. And I also appreciate his commitment to ensuring that you get a whistle that plays bottom to top. There are a lot of people, because there are a lot of whistles that are great whistles that you have to, I had one manufacturer, I read their description of their whistle, and they said, well, when you get into the top of the second octave, you have to learn how to fight the whistle. And I had another, fight the whistle. I had another manufacturer say, well, you really have to really push it. And I think and feel, I'm not an engineer, okay? I'm not a designer or producer of instruments, but I feel like you should be able to produce an instrument that I could push and it would give me that great depth of tone without my having to fight the thing. And some people, low D whistle players, even say, well, just forget playing the top few notes. No, I say, don't forget playing. Get a whistle that plays that. I think that's really important. All right, my soapbox pet peeve that I'll climb down. All right, thanks. Anyway, 2 absolutely beautiful whistles. However, don't stop the video here and run out and buy them. What I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to play each of these 2 whistles. I'm going to play a scale and I'm going to play snippets of 3 tunes, because you're not going to know if you like a whistle from my words. You're not even going to know if you like a whistle from Phil's words. You're going to know if you like a whistle by playing it. And since I can't ship it to everybody under the sun and say, here, try this, I'm going to play it for you, which is why I want to give you a broader range of me playing the whistle. Now, one other side. Even if you never buy a whistle from Kerry Whistles, please go to their website. Look at the really helpful videos that Phil makes and produces. Go to the Kerry Whistle YouTube channel and subscribe there, because they put out a number of good videos, and I love to watch Phil play. I like his sense of a low whistle. You see, he said if you're going to play a low whistle's to be played expressively, and so I agree with him on that. But also he has got some good training videos, and when he describes a video, you're going to learn stuff. And so when he describes a whistle, you're going to learn stuff. So I think that's brilliant. So anyway, I'm going to describe them physically and then start playing. So the Chieftain V5. This is one of the most popular, excellent whistles people buy. The Chieftain Custom. I don't think as many people know about this one. The holes are all about the same. Hole pattern's the same. Hole size is the same. Spacing's the same. You're going to need a piper's grip. Now, on these two, the holes are a little smaller than they are in many of the low D whistles I have. And that's to create a slightly, the tone's a little diminished in volume, so it's a good inside player. You're not going to blast over everybody else in a session, but what low D whistle are you going to do that with? I mean, really. So it's a great player. You are going to need a piper's grip for those lower holes, and Phil even has a good video on that. I've got videos on that. The differences are in the head, and I've said before, the head's where the action is. Now, hole size and all that, chamber, blah, blah, blah. And I'll describe what Phil says about it in a minute. First, I want to play a scale. You've listened to me talk long enough. This is the Chieftain Custom, and yes, I'm looking at it to make sure because they look so much alike. I could look up here, and I know the difference there. So, a scale on each. I'm going to play slowly because I want you to hear the tone. All right, Chieftain Custom. Now, the Chieftain V5, same thing. I think my fingers will do the same thing. I think the V5 is a little louder, and again, I really need to share Phil's words and descriptions with you. Tell you some of the physical characteristic differences at the head. Spits a little longer on the Custom. The airways are about the same size. They are the same size in width, but on the Custom, it's a little smidge taller. And then let me give you Phil's description. They have on the Custom restricted the airway slightly. Now, I just said it's a little wider. What that means on restricted, I believe that it's restricted down in here. You restrict that slightly, and that changes how the speed at which the air comes in, and then the way the air oscillates down in the chamber. And so there are some other subtle differences on how the air moves in there. So anyway, Phil says they've restricted the windway slightly, added a longer insert, that's that thing there, given the whistle a slightly more throaty sound. That's all achieved in the head. More compressed tone and not as wide as the V5 in tone. The back pressure is increased on the Custom, which means, and that basically talks about how the air builds up here in the head. as you blow into it, but not so much that it's pushing back. And that's what I think of when I hear back pressure. But what that means is when you're blowing, you're building a body of pressure in here. So you need to blow hard enough to establish that. And then you don't have to force as much air because you're maintaining a constant pressure of air rather than just blowing straight through the whistle. I hope that helped. So many words and so many definitions that are a little difficult. So anyway, that's Phil's description of the whistle. So what I want to do now is, well, I'll say the difference between the two is really pretty subtle. And I like that Phil provides whistles that are slight variations on a theme for us. So I'm going to play through the Ash Grove just once on each of these two whistles, starting with the Custom. All right, so the Chieftain Custom, the Ash Grove. Again, I'm going to play a snippet from a faster tune, but my commitment is to play slower tunes because you're not going to sense the tonal qualities from faster tunes. So this will help you. All right, that is the Chieftain Custom. Now, the V5, same thing. All right, both lovely. And do you hear the variation between them is pretty subtle. Now, a side note, little teaching note here. The Ash Grove includes a G sharp. So as you're playing the G sharp, you can half hold that third hole, but sometimes doing it like that can cause you to do it too much or too little. So I find just getting my pinky down there. See, the slightest obstruction of that third hole enables the G sharp. And that's easier than. I find just doing it this way, resting my finger above the hole, sometimes causes me to do it wrong. So, I think that's beautiful. It's lovely. And now I want to play a faster tune. I want to do just a little bit from the Little Beggarman. What I'm going to do is the B part played through once. Now, you're not going to hear the tonal qualities that much from a distinction standpoint, but I'm doing this so that you can hear how freely and effortlessly and responsively both of these whistles play, which is great because, you already heard me say that Phil says that he's crafting a whistle that is that he thinks of as a slow air whistle. Well, that's great, but that might make you think, well, it doesn't play quickly well. And I want to do just a little bit of the Little Beggarman to to put that to rest. So the B part of the Little Beggarman, just once on the Chieftain Custom. These are both metal whistles, so and I'm setting them down. It's a cold day, and so you're on a metal-headed whistle. You're always conscious of a little bit of condensation. Same thing on the V5. So that's that. Now, going to move to play through Spancil Hill once, and then we're going to end our time together. This is the Chieftain Custom. All right, Spancil Hill, just once through, Chieftain Custom. Now, the same thing on the V5. And a side note, the 3 tunes I'm playing through either once or pieces of, I've introduced all of them, and I'll stick a link to each of those where I introduce the tune in the notes to this video. Now, Spancil Hill on the Chieftain V5. So that is an introduction to the tone of the Chieftain Custom by Kerry Whistles, the Chieftain V5 by Kerry Whistles. I'll stick a link to the Kerry website, as I said. I'll stick links to each of the introductions where I introduced each of those tunes that we played. I hope this video, sorry it's a little longer, but I wanted to give you a full sense of some of the tone, those subtle tone distinctions between these two twins that are ever so slightly different. but ever so slightly lovely. Again, I love the stuff that Phil Hardy of Kerry Whistles does. They do a great job. And if you like the tone of these whistles, then they are a beautiful whistle to own, playing freely bottom to top, playing expressively bottom to top. And it's great. And so I've described some of that. Anyway, my friends, I hope this has been helpful. If it's been helpful and you like some of what we're doing, then please like the video. I'd love to have you join our channel, so subscribe and hang out with us. We're learning lots of low D whistle stuff, tunes, techniques, skills, just having a blast together, helping each other. And share this set of videos with somebody you know who's learning a little whistle. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling, my friends.